Thomas Lulawai. Some stars will shine tonight on this beautiful DW Stadium pitch. And Ryan Atkins, 5 tries in his last 4 matches. So players bang in form, and Warrington in desperate need of the win. Wigan, if they win, they will be 2 points behind Hull in the race for the top 4, which begins in earnest with the Super 8s the first week of August. James Child just checking everything's A-OK, and Burgess gets this game underway. Barry, it's massive as far as Warrington are concerned, and that's not the greatest start for them.
Both sides looking for a good start to the game. Got Wigan in Catalan, stuck with the Dragons for an hour. The lovely kick-off from the winger Joe Burgess. I've often compared him to the great Pat Richards, who graced this Wigan side, and he's certainly worked on his kicking abilities, his kick-off, and Stephen Ratchford, who's one of the best catchers in the business, couldn't get anywhere near it.
Fantastic from the start. That's the lesson, isn't it? Rugby. Too many teams kick the ball into a predictable area. Not Wigan. They made sure they got it back, and they're on the first set with territory here now, a chance to attack and maybe even score.
It's Gelling who takes the tackle from Deck Patton and Ryan Atkins. McIlaurin's the dummy half. Here is Ryan Sutton carting the ball forward as he always does. 3rd start in a row for him. 15 metres away then Wigan. It's opening set of 6 for them. Lulawai, little drop of the shoulder and a kick of the ball, looking for Gildart. First try for Wigan. Glorious start for them. Awful start for Warrington. Try not given yet. They're just going to check, I think, for the onside, offside, and the run. And maybe was there anything else in there, Stuart?
Yeah, looks like there's got obstruction in there. A player ran through. Whether he was close enough, we'll find out.
Looking for an obstruction then in back play. Has Gildart scored this try?
It's this one here. Tommy Lulai runs behind his own man. Does it have an effect on the defence? Well, there's certainly one man being pulled towards him. We can see here, as he runs through, is there enough gap that it doesn't affect the Warrington defence? Well, I think there's a Warrington player who's actually drawn into him. So I think this may well be chalked off. He's run behind his own man.
I think this is okay. I think this is a bad read in defence from Warrington. But there's not one Warrington defender that's impeded. Willie Iser goes through. The wrong decision's made out wide. They jam in, try and close the play down. Thomas Lulawai spots that, and that's why he kicks the ball.
Well, Phil Bentham isn't 100% convinced. He's the video referee.
The problem you have, we've got to find out what the player there, he holds on the man running through. And it's that man that's got in front. You know, he shouldn't have to make that decision. And as an official, you can't tell what effect that man in front has had. I think this should be disallowed because of the obstruction.
I don't think it's going to be, because they're going on now to look at the grounding, I think. They're checking the onside, offside, and Gildart was way onside. Here's the grounding. This is confirmation that this is going to be given, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the opening minute of the match, and Wigan have got a 4-point advantage. Here's the confirmation. Try is given to Oliver Gildart. 6th game for him in a row in the centre. 12 tries last year, halfway to that total now.
Well, the reason why Warrington are down near the bottom of the table is because they've made more errors than anybody else. And that was a poor start, but that was a clever kick from Thomas Lulawai. Look, you practice this attacking shape in training. You send dummy front runners through. Willie Iser runs as though he's going to get that ball. Thomas Lulawai spots the defensive error out wide, drops the ball onto the boot, and you can just see all the Warrington players jamming in, trying to close the play down.
That's the 35th try that Wigan have scored this season with a kick involved in it. It's far more than any other side here, significantly. Almost 40% of the tries now scored by the Warriors at some point have a kick in it, either directly or shortly after that. And if you contrast that with the Wolves this season, they've only scored 13 tries. You know, that's the least of any team. They've struggled. Their kicking game to put points on the board is an Achilles heel that's let them down. But instead of this game, they couldn't even take the start of the match.
No, they allowed the kick-off to bounce. Wigan got possession, and they led by 4 points to nil. They still lead by 4 points to nil because George Williams has missed with the first kick of the match. 4-0 Wigan.
Some nice work done from Michael McIlaurin at 9. And the recognition of Thomas Lulawai. He had set plays outside him. He had plan A. He was able to go to plan B. A delicate little kick through. And the start that Warrington needed, 2.5 minutes, they're 4-0 down. terrible start for the Wolves.
Not insurmountable though, but Wigan, you get the feeling they might be coming home in 2017 with a wet sail. The likes of Gelling and Gildart back in the side. The likes also of John Bateman and Tony Clubb back in the side after lengthy layoffs through injury. You would be foolish to write them off in a bid for Old Trafford, but we shall see over the next few months as McIlroy gets the play away again to Anthony Gelling. That's 3 tackles gone. They're only just outside their own 20-metre zone. McIlroy into centre field to the 400-man O'Loughlin. Then it goes via Williams to the try scorer Gildart. Warrington moving quickly to pull him down. Frank Paul Nuasala now.
Well, they need to put some pressure
Willie
here.
Iser, I beg your pardon. Willie Iser on the ball.
Well, Wigan looking to shift it to the second man, and here we go. There's a chance for Warrington.
There is charge down by Benjamin Jullien. Sam Tompkins taking a little bit too long. So here come Warrington on the riposte. And this is Ryan Atkins. Atkins is brought down on the 20-metre line. And then they get a penalty because Burgess had another little pull at Atkins' jersey.
He earns more penalties than any other Warrington player, Ryan Atkins. Look at the charge down there from Julian. That's the energy that you need from Warrington. They scored 9 tries last week, so they've got some tries in them. They need to start playing though with a bit more confidence.
Well, this is a glorious opportunity for them to level the things up. And Gidley gets it away to Patton, gets it away to Ratchford. And the pass to Lynham hit the whitewash before Lynham got anywhere near it. Well, he missed the kick-off, did Stefan Ratchford. He's shaking his head, he holds his hands up. He's the first to apologise.
You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to give his winger ball in space. He thinks that if he gives his winger early ball, if he gives him a one-on-one, Tom Lynham's a big man. You mentioned Eddie, his 4 tries last week in superb form, but Stefan Ratchford tries to catch it and pass it, and his ambition doesn't match his ability.
England international Stefan Ratchford, not the best start to a match for him. 5 minutes gone, Wigan are ahead 4-0. Holding the ball in the scrum then were the Wigan Warriors. Maybe seeking a penalty if Warrington had broken away early. Bateman loses the ball unfairly though. The challenge from Ashton Sims, and Wigan did not like that.
He went right over the top, Ashton Sims. John Bateman isn't a man to duck for anybody, but he catches Ashton Sims. The ball is dislodged. There you go, goes right over the top. John Bateman hits the deck pretty hard as well. I don't think too much lasting damage.
No, to be fair to Ashton Sims, he went up to him and apologised. There was a bit of a tug on the ponytail.
Joe Burgess it was. But when he turned straight around, didn't he? Having a look around, who pulled his hair then? Ashton Sims.
Just walk away, Chris.
I think it's only a penalty. I don't think it's anything more than that. It's a swinging arm.
Yeah.
There's
The thing is,
contact
it
above the
might
shoulder.
result in Bateman having to leave the field.
Ashton! Come in.
Because it's a bang on the head. James Child wants a word.
Got to be more careful when we go into the tackles. It's a high tackle, all right?
Just
Joe.
a high tackle.
Joe! Joe!
I think he'd be
Joe.
okay here, John Bateman.
It's when he hits the floor.
Yeah, no, we've got the penalty.
He's a tough old player though,
We've
isn't
got
he?
the penalty. We don't need that, do we? All right?
Little pull of the hair by Burgess is what the referee has seen, and rightly says we don't need that.
Well, I must admit, Eddie, that never happened to me when I played.
They did. They pulled it, but they pulled it out. It never drew it back again.
Actually, I would love to see Terence with a ponytail.
I'm thinking he'd suit a top knot.
It would be an ambition now of Terence to have enough hair to
Be a fur,
get
eh?
into
It'd be a toupee. Anyway,
Here comes Frank Paul now. Wigan on the back of that penalty. Lost by Frank Paul Nuasala.
Well, he's a hard man to defend against. So durable. Frank Paul, the big Kiwi international. Oh, yeah, he loses that. He's got to have a better grip on that ball.
34th consecutive appearance for him.
Make sure you're on your loose forwards on that.
Frank Paul, the only ever present. And, you know, he won the grand final against Warrington last year. It was only his 11th appearance in a Wigan jersey. Something of a fairy tale start for big Frank Paul. First of 9 games that Wigan have got to claw back 4 points on the top 4, which is where they stand at the moment, 4 points adrift. Warrington in possession with Clark, gets it away to Ashton Sims. Bateman went looking for him and found him. This is Julien.
3 players up quick on Ashton Sims, then he turns round, as he does very often, and flops the ball into a hand of a supporting Warrington player.
Atkins gets up at the floor quickly, plays the ball to Clark. He showed it to Hill, took the tackle himself as he turned into the tackle there. Back to the Wigan defenders. He was looking to offload again. Here is Stefan Ratchford now. Back he comes to Kurt Gidley. Gidley finds Jack Hughes, and the Wigan defence find Hughes. Last tackle coming up, and that was Petter Hiku at dummy half. Here is a high kick that Tompkins claims quite easily, and Warrington try and get him back over his own goal line, but they couldn't. Roy wasn't standing square, couldn't get involved in the tackle.
This is where they need to work really hard. Don't give penalties away. And there you go, just as he said it. On their efforts to get off the line, they're not working with the referee. The referee, James Charles, talking to the Warrington players.
Too early, he's there. Well, the Warrington defensive line is like a dog's hind leg.
Well, you could see Ashton Sims was the man stood next to the referee, so we can hear exactly what the referee's saying. You've got to make sure that you're a bit more disciplined. That's the second time that Warrington have let Wigan out of trouble.
Willie Isa now put to ground by 3 defenders. Gidley was there, Pomeroy as well.
Great tackles, Eddie, weren't they there? They've driven the Wigan player back here, and again, the defence from the Warrington side, which has been questionable for large parts this season. They've led in the first try, but on most occasions they've used good shoulder contact and they're hitting the Wigan players head on.
Bateman, extraordinary record for Bateman. I mentioned it in the build-up. He's only played 5 times this year. He's never been on a losing side for Wigan. They're just delaying him and the pace of the play the ball there. Warrington in the defence. That's another good hit by Julien. A little bit of a help from Chris Hill. McIlorum and Luluai on halfway. Gives it to Sam Tompkins. Tompkins then gets it away to Williams. Williams taking them on. Good job that Gidley held on to him. We've reached tackle number 5. Last one coming up here then. Tompkins, high kick. Ratchford underneath this time. Loses it. Gidley picks it up, and Gidley gets it away to Lynham. It looked like the hint of a knock-on by Lynham.
Well, he did ever so well to take that, didn't he, Tom Lynham? He's 6'2", gets down to the ground. Sam Tompkins all over him. The winger put up a great kick, Sam Tompkins, under no pressure. Challenges for the ball. The ball's an offload here from Gidley, and it's a good pick-up from the winger, Tom Lynham, who just sat himself in a pocket in case there was any mistakes.
Tompkins, another man, of course, returning to this Wigan side for the important stage of the season. His drop goal won the cup tie at Warrington last month, 27-26, the final score. Here is the captain now, Chris Hill. 8 minutes inside their own half of the field. Warrington, Clark to Gidley. Gidley then to Deck Patton. He just held on to that at the last moment. Couldn't make much progress forward. Ratchford. Here is Sims. Sims, the ball went backwards. Play on. Darrell Clark has picked it up.
There's those unstructured plays from Warrington that could cause problems for Wigan.
Atkins dumps the ball down into Clark's hands in the offload. Here is Jack Hughes. Hughes thought about the pass. Looks like he might be on his way out, but a little bit of help there from Pomeroy. Make sure he wasn't going over the touchline. Hiku to Gidley. Gidley with a bit of a hurried kick, and it's claimed on the full by Tompkins in the sunshine.
When you
Good defence from Warrington.
When you're playing games like this, there's always going to be big defensive reads from either side, but it's the little 1%ers that you do. The push for your teammate who's carrying the ball. You can't switch off when you're at marker. When the ball goes away from you, keep on pushing towards where the action is. You're going to get belted in big games, and you just got to word a tackle every now and again.
Here goes Liam Marshall. Wonder if he'll add to his total against Warrington tonight. Gelling could not pick that up as cleanly as Lyman did.
Other than Warrington's mistake at the kick-off of this match when they failed to take the ball, they've been probably it's a very impressive 10 minutes. Last week was a great opening start for them, as you said, that first half. The best performance I've felt in a half of rugby since they played the Brisbane Broncos in February. And again, they've started this game. They've conceded the first try, but they've scored it. They've certainly made up for that here now with some impressive defence.
Well, Sean Wayne watching from closer to ground level tonight. It's a good climb up the stairs here to the gantry where Sean normally watches from, and obviously after the hip surgery of last week, probably under doctor's orders to stay a little bit closer to ground level. So that's where he is tonight. Here's Ashton Sims again, meanwhile, for Warrington. Sims gets up off the grounded O'Loughlin, finds Clark, who in turn finds Captain Chris Hill 10 metres away from the line. Clark waits at dummy half, will fire the ball to Patton. Patton looks for the runner, it's Gidley. Here is Hughes. Hughes dumps the ball down. Well picked up. Very well picked up by Hiku. That's Ratchford. This is Gidley. Into centre field to Hill. Hill has lost the ball, lost it forward. Zero tackle, Luluai has it. Tony Smith watching from similar position.
Well, Chris Hill will be disappointed with that. He had a really good game last week. Ashton Sims got his first try of 2017, and they've had a decent start to this game as well. It's important when you play against Wigan that your middlemen front up. You don't get out-muscled in the opening quarter.
Well, Ashton Sims flying into the tackle then on Liam Marshall. Tompkins picks it up with one hand, gives it to Sean O'Loughlin. And Clark with a very good tackle on the Wigan skipper. Hughes was there to help out as well. Michael McAloram's gone for a possible 40-20, but the opportunity was cut off at the pass by Stephen Ratchford.
Kicks that on the third play, but a good take from Stephen Ratchford, which means now they're near Wigan's half. Good strong carry from Lynham. And that's the gamble of going early. You've probably got 2 more tackles up your belt. You could have got 20 metres, but they want a defensive effort here.
It's Peter Hiku this.
Oliver, move on me. Hold
Hughes looks for the runner, and it's Mike Cooper. Cooper, he missed the game against Lee last week. He started the previous 10. Clark has got Gidley on his inside. Gidley then finds Patton. Patton goes wide to Ratchford. Ratchford further wide to Atkins. Good tackle by Luluai. Last one coming up here. Warrington 10 away. Ratchford gets a short ball to Julien. He's over. Benjamin Julien has levelled the scores. After a horror start, Warrington are level. They've been the more impressive, to be fair, since the first try that they conceded. It obviously rattled them, and Benjamin Julien, the Frenchman who's called into the 32-man France squad for the World Cup this week, comes up with his third try of the season. It's 4-all.
Hasn't he been good this year? Benjamin Julien plays above his weight. Whether he's carrying the ball or whether he's hitting, he's on the front foot and puts every ounce into it. It's a short-range try, but it gets the Wolves back into this game off the back of some fast, quick ruck speed.
I think you put this down to this man who's going to play the ball, Ryan Atkins. Look how quick he gets up, leaves Thomas Luluai on the ground. That's what all of a sudden Ratchford spots. He gets out of dummy half, he isolates some defenders who just back off for that man to crash onto the ball.
Well, whether Huddersfield win, lose or draw tomorrow against bottom club Lee, Warrington determined here tonight to make sure that they have to do something to keep them out of the top 8.
Whatever happens, Warrington need to start to rebuild their confidence, because the start of the middle 8 qualification phase, should they face Catalan away and then maybe Hull KR, they could get off to 2 defeats there, and then all sort of pressure on them, really. So they need to rebuild their confidence, even if they don't quite make it into the top 8. And Stephen Ratchford, who picked that up, I thought he's hoping to end the season in the World Cup. The only way, his best chance of doing that is to play in a winning side here, winning here against Wigan in his hometown. Will be important, and he's now tasked with adding 2 more, putting his side ahead.
This would put them ahead, but he has just pushed it to the right-hand side of the posts. So a good opening quarter of an hour, and Tony Smith's men have steadied the ship. After a horrible start, it's 4-all.
You know what you get with Ryan Atkins, and Stephen Ratchford knew exactly what he got from the left centre. A quick play of the ball. That youngster, Benjamin Julien, comes crashing onto the ball. Not the biggest, but this certainly wears his heart on his sleeve. Gives everything every time we've seen him play on Sky Sports.
And no wonder he's been named for the national side in the World Cup. 16th successive appearance in the second row tonight. So Joe Burgess restarts with a high kick-off, almost in exactly the same place. This time it's pouched safely by Hiku.
Surrender! Stand!
Took control of that. Could have been penalised there, Nuwasala.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Wigan penalty.
This is moving off the mark, yeah. This is crazy, this. Hiku has a right to try and regain his feet. No.
Well, James Childers said he's called surrender on the tackle, so that means that the Wigan players are entitled to stay in the tackle a bit longer. He then moved forward on the ground, and then when he stood up, he went further forward. That's the penalty.
This is Ryan Sutton. McIlorum is the dummy half. This is Luluai. Luluai gets it away to Tompkins. Got away from Julian. I think Julian took a bit of a bang in the face then from the Wigan full-back, but Atkins was there to spring the trap. That's McIlorum. Now it's Luluai to Sutton. Solid defence needed now from Warrington on their own goal line. McIlorum waits at dummy half. Into centre field to O'Loughlin. Tries to go inside, Clark, and does. Gets away from Sims as well. Then he feeds the ball to Frank Paul Nuwasala. But there are numbers there to halt the big Kiwi. McIlorum to O'Loughlin, waiting for the support. It's there from Williams. Important tackle that by Hill and Clark. McIlorum fires the pass to Tompkins, goes further wide to Luluai, slides the kick in, it's too strong.
Just too much on that. George Williams was screaming for the ball on the left-hand side. He wanted to drop a couple of the left edge players off Thomas Luluai. The anguish on his face when he kicks that ball, trying to break them down again for Wigan's second try. It just didn't come off on that occasion, though. Warrington riding the storm here. Been under pressure. Maybe win a penalty.
It goes in his favour, doesn't it? Peter Hiku's been pretty impressive at running the ball and gaining ground here. 3 or 4 Wigan defenders can't pull him down. They're penalised there for interference.
Hi, guys.
The penalty takes Warrington to the halfway line to start this latest set of 6. Hughes will take the ball forward.
Well, Ryan, move!
It's the 42nd consecutive appearance for him tonight. Hill on the charge. Halted though.
Surrender! Go to
Clark at dummy half. He gets it away to Patton. Patton then to Mike Cooper. Cooper coming to the end of his first season back in Super League with Warrington after a few years in the NRL. That's Gidley, who's leaving at the end of the year. He's announced he's giving it away at the end of 2017, Kirk Gidley. Ices all over the top of Jack Hughes. Clark. This is Gidley again. Drops the ball off to Hill. And Hill is grounded 9 metres away from the Wigan line. Now then, what have Warrington got in the locker this time? Gidley with a kick to the corner. Looking for Lynham, finding Atkins, who drops the ball, and Julian couldn't pick it up either. But it's the original knock-on from that man, Ryan Atkins.
A couple of big plays in defence from Wigan in that set of 6. Every time that they were going into contact, they were working extra hard, they were squeezing onto the man. So he couldn't get his arm down, he couldn't plant his arm down to jump up and play the ball.
It was quite an unspectacular set for Warrington. They didn't throw much out, they kept dropping big men off, so probably trying to tire the bigger players out in the Wigan side, the Wigan middles. Again, it's all about the battle of the middle, the battle of the big men, and Tony Clubb is trying to lift the intensity as he joins the action.
And Ashton Sims went hunting again. And Ashton Sims and Chris Hill are penalised, and Tony Clubb's first involvement off the bench results in a Wigan penalty.
Well, he's been in the thick of it, hasn't he, Ashton Sims, from minute 1. Good initial contact on Tony Clubb, who spins out the tackle. Then Chris Hill, there's just too much wrestle here for the referee, James Child. Blows the penalty. You can just see that the efforts to keep the man down, but then the effort from the man who's carrying the ball to get up.
You know, 8 penalties in the opening quarter of the game was really stopping the flow, isn't it? Where hopefully, if the players could reduce those, we'll start to see this game speed up, and it needs it.
O'Loughlin down the middle, he finds Thomas Luluai. There's a big hole from Luluai. He has support there from Bateman, and John Bateman goes over for a Wigan try. On the back of that penalty, Bateman, second try of the season. He got a try on his return to action from 18 games out in the Cup quarter-final win against Warrington. That's only his second Super League try of 2017. But it gives the Wigan Warriors an 8-4 advantage and the kick to come, which is eminently kickable.
Thomas Luluai's had a big influence, but so is this man. This is what you want from one of your subs, the impact off the bench to get on, get your team going forward, you'd earn a penalty. But this is the set-up shape from Wigan. Look at this ball from Sean O'Loughlin. The dummy run from John Bateman initially pulls Benjamin Julian in. And John Bateman, who scores the try here, was only 9 years old when Sean O'Loughlin, the man who's got the ball now, made his debut. Look at that, the speed, the agility, and then the presence of mind from John Bateman, knowing to push up in support, there for all to see.
I asked every one of those Warrington players before the match their thoughts about Sean O'Loughlin, his contribution to the game and his contribution to Wigan. They all said to him, man, he's the perfect player. He can out-muscle you, he can out-think you, out-fight you, and he's just set up a try for his side.
Which has been improved by George Williams. 8-4 then, Wigan leads.
Right.
10-4.
The pass selection, isn't it? Long, short, soft or hard. He can deliver the right pass at the right time, and then hopefully his teammates, with good support play, can convert it into 6 points. This is exactly what they've done. Probably outplayed perhaps Eddie, in my opinion, for the opening quarter.
Liam Farrell absent tonight alongside club doctor Professor Chris Brooks. If John Bateman was 9 when Sean O'Loughlin made his debut, what age were you, Terry?
I was 30, Eddie. Bit of a difference, isn't there?
Just a bit. Ratchford's kick-off deep to the Wigan goal line. Tolima Tautai. Straight into the thick of the action.
Well, there's no panic here for Warrington. They just need to make sure they keep trading those sets. And the man who's involved in the tackle, Ryan Atkins, give him some early ball over on the left. They do look dangerous when they shift it out wide. And here's the other part of Sean O'Loughlin's game. Here's the dirty side, when someone needs to carry the ball and just take it up and get tackled. He's the man to do that as well.
Tautai on tackle number 4. Wigan 3 metres away from halfway. This is Williams trying to go inside the defenders, Hughes and Hill. McIloran, Tompkins on the last. Drills the kick through the defence, bouncing into the arms of Lynham. That's a good chase, led by Tompkins and Bateman.
Sean O'Loughlin as well, adding his considerable weight. Just shows you how important substitutions are in the modern game. With just over a quarter of the match gone, and Sean Wayne has put Tautai and club on, we still see Chris Hill, Ashton Sims, Mike Cooper still on the pitch. Work rate is incredibly high, and they'll be being overworked during this match.
This is Patton, met by McIloran and finished off by McIloran. Sims now, the Fijian international, to within 9 metres of the halfway line, but Wigan have restricted Warrington to their own half. This is the last tackle. Gidley is running it. He's found Hughes and he's found Ratchford. Ratchford flings the ball infield wildly and straight into the arms of Tautai. Wigan have it back.
What Warrington are trying to find is they're trying to find those edge players. Apart from Ashton Sims, the edge players were responsible for the tries last week. They've got a new right edge, as we see the offload from Ratchford. Hiku and Pomeroy, they change between centre and winger, keep their opposition guessing. But you can't go round teams, and you're not going to go round Wigan tonight, not in this early stage.
Luluai puts the ball away to Gelling. Solid enough run from Gelling. Plays the ball quickly to Sam Powell. That's Tautai again. Here is O'Loughlin. Back it comes to Williams. Williams with the kick. It ricocheted off a Warrington body straight into the arms of Ben Pomeroy. Penalty. Offside against Wigan. Have to play the ball.
Well, that's the consistency that the players have won with the referee.
I think there's a little bit of back-chatting going on there as well to referee James Child. Wigan disputing the penalty and march back 10 more metres. It's been a torrid week for James Child. As we all know what happened after the Salford game last week, when a missile was thrown at him by a so-called supporter at Salford. Fortunately, he ducked. No lasting damage done, but surely Rugby Football League will be investigating that. They've said that they are. And Salford as well have declared that they will ban the fan from the ground. It's the right thing to do. Clark to Gidley. Gidley gets it away to Patton. Patton then to Ratchford. Here is Atkins. Ratchford again. Patton and Cooper. Solid enough run from Mike Cooper. 7 metres from the Wigan line as he plays the ball here to Clark. Now it's with Gidley. Gidley then reverse passes Hill. And it was well watched by O'Loughlin that. Last tackle they have reached Warrington. This is the 5th. Back he comes to Patton, slides the kick in. Patton well picked up on the ground by Tompkins. Did well then.
It's a poor end to the set though, again, isn't it, for Warrington. The final 2 players, it was a prop forward that goes into the middle of the field, then it's a kick here, and it wasn't really challenged, Sam Tompkins, to get that ball. He's under no pressure. It was a good take, but Warrington, they are better in attack than they're showing, or that they've shown this year.
Powell. Tautai is waiting. Oh! Well, he recovered his ground, the Willie Isa. He's come up with the offence of a knock-on, and so it's Warrington with head and feet. Just a little bit of sloppy concentration, maybe, from Willie Isa.
Well, you can understand why Ben Pomeroy tries to tow it through. It's obviously a chance there. If he goes through and gets it in the in-goal area, he thought there was an opportunity to score and maybe even level this game, but Tautai's pass misdirected. Sean O'Loughlin's off now after 25 minutes. Question is, can his replacement be equally as impressive? The Wolves, you can see there, with possession in their opponent's half, almost double that. They've had good territory. They need to turn it into points.
A lot of tributes to Sean O'Loughlin this week. Read many of them, and people saying that he would have really made a go of things in the NRL had he taken the decision to go to Australia, but decided to stick with his hometown club. And he's become a legend in this town. There he is now, just taking a breather. You're allowed that in your 400th game. Clark has lost that ball forward. And Willie Isa drops on the loose ball, and he will be delighted.
Was it pulled from a Wigan player? Did Sam Powell make a play for that? Working hard for Margaret. What Wigan sides do, they work hard for market. They put pressure on you. Sorry, it was Tony Clubb. You get out, you put pressure on the man who's passing the ball. Whether he's going to run it or he's going to pass the ball.
It's a knock-on.
I think Tautai might have lost that on the ground. The referee saw it another way.
2 pieces of luck for me. I don't like it when players reach round and knock the ball out of players' hands. Tautai, I feel, lost grip on that ball when he was playing it, but Wigan working hard to get a good kick away on the 4th or 5th tackle.
Here goes Tompkins from dummy half straight at Philbin. Was Philbin onside? Obviously he was. Last tackle here then coming up for Wigan. Williams will hump this ball in the air, and he's after it himself, is Williams. That's well claimed though.
He didn't quite content with going for an attacking kick then, George Williams.
Peter Hiku did well.
He did, he was under pressure, wasn't he, from Williams? He knew exactly what he was doing when he dabbed that ball over the line.
This is Ben Pomeroy. Been playing his rugby league in the French Championship. Once upon a time was with the Cadillac Dragons 2 years ago. Here is Lynham now.
You hear a cheer from the Warrington fans as one of their stars. Ben Curry comes back onto the field.
You know, they've missed him.
He's missed 27 games, Eddie. In those 27 games, Warrington have won 9 and lost 18. That's just how influential he's been. If you think about it, he probably was the reason why they didn't get to the grand final last season. In his absence, never down to one man, but boy, they missed his try-scoring ability.
Here is Ratchford, he finds Pat, and Ben Curry is after this high kick. And Wigan have dropped it. Marshall was it, gets a pat on the back of the head from Anthony Gelling.
Again, he goes through the line, doesn't he, Ben Curry? That's his first involvement, gets in the eye line of the young winger, Liam Marshall.
I think Sam Tompkins is lucky not to be penalised there. He's taken Ben Curry right out of the play. He went in front.
Yeah, he got a nudge in the back, Curry, definitely, from Sam Tompkins. But Liam Marshall, he's at Wigan until 2020 at least. Didn't quite take that in. But 20 tries this year in Super League. Second only to Castleford's prolific try-scoring winger Greg Eden. Here's Gidley to Hughes. Warrington looking to get the scores level as we approach the half-hour mark. One tackle gone, 5 metres out. This is Andre Savelio, the latest Super League star to decide to try his luck in the NRL. He will sign for the Brisbane Broncos and play next year under Wayne Bennett, and gets a penalty because Wigan were all over him like a cheap suit.
Well, Wigan just trying to frustrate Warrington, getting numbers in, they're working them on the floor.
Philbin will drive it in now. Warrington were in 2 metres of the line. Clark fires the pass to Gidley, drops it off then to Savelio. That's better. Tony Club very quick. Clark, Patton, Atkins look forward, the first pass, not that one to Ratchford. Ratchford trying to get away from Bateman. Bateman brings him to ground with help from Tautai in the flowing locks. Clark waits at dummy half. 3 tackles gone. There's Patton. This now is Gidley. Gidley fires the pass to Petter Hiku. And Wigan deal with a threat in the shape of Oliver Gildar. Pomeroy to Gidley. Flat pass, big hit. Tony Clubb is putting himself about with a bit of help from Jack Wells.
He's ripping into absolutely everybody, Tony Clubb.
Clark finds Patton. Patton, nice kick off the outside of the boot. And it's just too long. And Ratchford was looking for it, and Tompkins took the gamble. Quick tap restart, here come Wigan. Here is Marshall. Oh, what a hit by Lynham. Collision off the ball. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, probably.
Well, Wigan just trying to step this game up speed-wise. Sam Tompkins with a quick tap, giving the ball to Liam Marshall.
Here's Bateman. Bateman gets Wigan to halfway on tackle number 2.
He's been good defensively early on in this game. Been an awful lot of traffic he's had to deal with over there on the right.
Williams to Willie Isa. Made his 150th appearance in the British game last week, did Willie Isa, former Castleford and Widnes player. Here's Jack Wells now, the start of his career, 19 years of age, his back row forward. Powell is at dummy half. That's Lulawa. Gets a short ball away to Bateman. Bateman thought about the offload, thought better of it. Good tackle by Curry. Interesting first involvements from Curry after all this time out. That's not the best from George Williams.
Well, he was put under pressure. It was Jack Hughes who got up quickly at him. We've hit that half-hour mark and fatigue starts to set in. The skill level drops a little, the accuracy of the kicks. Here, this goes straight over the sideline, so the ball comes back. It's a handover of possession. To see 1 or 2 players here blowing.
Okay.
It's been hot, it's been hard. Wigan look as though that game in the south of France last Saturday certainly taken a little bit out of them.
Yes, it was played in intense heat, of course, and it was a battle for an hour, and then Wigan pulled away. He did well then to get that ball away. Did Mike Cooper. This is the Warrington fullback, Stephen Ratchford, trying to get himself out of the Wigan sandwich. Atkins. Good tackle by Wells. Clubb is in there again. Gidley finds Hiku on this right-hand side. 3 Wigan defenders deal with the threat. The tackle is complete with him standing up, making no further progress forward. Gidley goes high, looking for Pomeroy. Only finding Joe Burgess for Wigan.
Well, Ryan Atkins has come over from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, trying to give his experience out wide. And again, this is good line speed. They see Joe Philbin getting off the line along with Savelio and Jack Hughes, trying to punish some of the Wigan players who are carrying the ball forward.
3 tackles gone, only 17 metres made forward by Wigan. Here is Jack Wells. He's only got them to the 20-metre line. Tony Clubb puffs out the cheeks. Great defensive setback from Warrington, ruined then by Savelio, who couldn't resist a second pull at the neck.
It was good contact from Savelio, gets his shoulder onto the ball. Clubb bounces off, spins round, hits the deck and gets up as quick as he can. That's the perfect way to ride a tackle from Tony Clubb.
Do you know what's the frustrating part of that, Eddie, for Tony Smith? That was the last tackle. They'd restricted Wigan to just 26 metres carrying the ball. The next play had to be a kick from Wigan. Unfortunately, it was a penalty, and now look where Warrington are defending.
Yes, inside their own half. And here comes Bateman on tackle number 1. Tony Smith just watching on from the sideline, of course. Will not have been happy with that penalty from Brisbane-bound Savelio.
You felt like the previous set of 6, it was deliberate to kick to the corner, it was deliberate to pick the tempo and try and put some pressure in defence, but they couldn't control their emotions.
Warrington with only 7 of the 17 at Old Trafford against Wigan last year in action tonight. This is Tautai now for the champions, and we should also say the World Club champions in 2017. Here is Luluai, this is Tompkins. Tompkins cutting back on the inside, gets the ball away. Powell hangs on despite a little fumble, then finds George Williams, the engineer-in-chief. He gives it back to Thomas Luluai. They want it spread wide, so he obliges. Gildart dabs the ball to the in-goal area, and that is far too strong.
Well, first of all, there was nice skills from Oliver Gildart where he taps the ball, he catches it, and then he puts just too much on that. Maybe just take the ball into contact, maybe try and create something with your winger Joe Burgess. 2 talented players, and Sean Wayne knows that he's in a game here.
Pomeroy for Warrington.
Well, the Warrington coaches have tried to make a change here. Hopefully it's going to have an impact before we get to the half-time mark. This penalty will help. The reintroduction of Chris Hill back onto the field might also have an influence as well, and that's what they're hoping here. With about 4 minutes to go now before we get to the hooter and a rest, can they find a way of crossing the line and getting level?
Well, it's a great place to start. The set of 6 here. This is Gidley, who gives it to Savelio. He goes up the middle, route 1. Clark waits behind him. Hill, with his first involvement since his return from his spell on the sideline, halted by Tautai. Here is Darryl Clark again, went behind Chris Hill, got away with it. Clark still, just weighing up the options all round him, decides to take the tackle, no risky offloads. Hill then to Gidley. Gidley gets the ball away to Jack Hughes. Hughes then finds Hiku. Pomeroy was waiting on the touchline. Solid defence on show from Isa. There's Pomeroy, now Gidley, drops it off to Savelio. Savelio rides the first tackle, can't get away from Tautai. Clark, dummy half, 5 metres out, last one for Warrington. Gidley, shape to kick, then pass to Pack. He will kick wide, looking for Lynham. The ball bounces, and Warrington could be in for a try here with Atkins. Warrington could be in, they are in. Ryan Atkins in sensational try-scoring form. 5 tries in his last 4, 171 tries in Super League now, 6th, joint 6th on the all-time try-scoring chart, and this is vital for the Wolves.
Patient build-up from the Wolves. Pomeroy gaining the penalty, gaining the field position. As you picked up, Kirk Gidley in shaping and faking to kick, just holds the defenders up. Nobody's sure what to do, nobody's confident to move on. It's that fake there that allows the space and time to deck Patton, who puts it into the perfect place for the winger to bat it back. Ryan Atkins and Tom Lynham setting up a try for the Wolves.
It's even the little movement from Ryan Atkins. Look, you can see him, he's defending the second man in. All of a sudden he can see there's a contest in the air, he sweeps around the back, knowing that there's some space there. And isn't this a patient, composed pick-up from the centre?
No offsides there, Stuart, nothing wrong with that.
No, I think my first view was that he might have been in front, but I think the last shot we saw then was he was onside, he was behind the ball when it was kicked, so he was all right to score.
Officials on the field seem pretty confident, that's why James Child awarded the try. So back within 2 points, Warrington, as we approach half-time, and this kick from Ratchford, if it sails over, will level matters at 10 apiece. And again, he's pushed it the wrong side of the left-hand upright.
Well, they've struggled with goal kicks, and they've struggled to score tries from kicks at the ends of sets this season. But this is a great kick here from Dec Patton, and it's obvious there's a mismatch here between Tom Lynham and Liam Marshall. The bigger man's got the momentum and the size to help him tap that barrel back, win the contest in the air, and hope that his teammates got the skill to pick it up and put it down.
Well, Patton is a goal kicker, of course, as well as a kicker in general play. Ryan Atkins' try.
Yeah, he did kick 6 from 9 last week, Stefan Ratchford. One great touchline conversion when Lynham scored on the left-hand side, but missed the 3 others, and that's the situation that find themselves in again.
And Patton 5 from 5 in the cup tie that Warrington just lost by a point. The ball from Ratchford was spilled and went back, but Ben Curry is there. Good to see Curry back in action. He's 23 on Saturday. This is an early birthday present for him to be back in Super League action. I'm sure he's delighted to be back out on the field. Out since last September with bad knee injury when he played against Wigan, and he got a try in the last 2 visits to the DW Stadium. Nice kick from Gidley into open space, an invitation for Pomeroy to chase, but the ball is the quickest object on the field.
It was an early kick as well, kick on tackle 3. I feel like Warrington are just playing a bit more respect to the bare necessities of this game. Get into the end of the sets, get into the kicks. A real focus and intent while they're defending. They look pretty good. Apart from that start, there was a shaky, rocky 5 minutes at the beginning of the game, and the mental place and space that they're in, they'll probably feel that 30 minutes have been just about where they want to be. Sean O'Loughlin just watching on.
There we go. Sean Wayne will make his way into the dressing rooms to talk to his charges, who will have a 2-point advantage, given a gift of a start by Warrington with points, 10 points to 8. They've got Warrington here tonight, Leeds at home next week. The champions are aiming to make a bid for a 5th grand final in a row via the Super 8s. Warrington, if they lose here tonight, they know they are confined to the middle 8s and the qualifiers at the back end of the month. And they haven't beaten Wigan in any of their last 6 meetings, so it was always going to be a big test of them here tonight. And well, they're hanging on in there. They're only 2 points adrift. Anything could happen in the next 40 minutes. Jack Wells taking a big challenge at the start of this second half. Sam Powell is waiting as John Bateman plays the ball to him. Here is Wells again. No adverse effects after that big hit. Powell and Clubb takes it almost to the halfway line, but solid enough defence from Philbin. Reach tackle number 5. The kick then from Powell is straight into the arms of Tom Lynham. Let's go down to the sideline. Angela Powers.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. We've got Dan Sargentson down here on the sideline. We've come all the way from Australia just for this game, Dan.
Just for this game, yeah. You know, I thought I'd come up and see the boys, come back to see my family, and yeah, they're an important bunch of lads to me. So yeah, wanted to come and come watch and see how they get on today.
What do you think about the game so far?
Yeah, there's a lot of errors. I think the ball's probably a lot greasier than it looks on TV, but there's a lot of errors from both sides. So I'm sure the half-time talks are about keeping the possession and getting to the end of some sets.
Patience and composure. They were 2 words from Sean Wayne for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're carrying the ball well, and all the boys are showing real good effort out there, but. Yeah, like you said, we just need to complete some sets and get down the other end, really, play down the other end.
Thanks for talking to us, Dan. Dan from the Gold Coast Titans over here after an injury. And Sean Wayne's just said, as I said, patience and composure. And as Warrington are attacking the line here, that's exactly what Tony Smith wants to see. Wants to see a big second half here from them. Keep their composure too. He's happy with the defence. That's the attack they need to work on.
Thanks, Andy. Did you hear Dan Sargentson hasn't lost the Cockney accent? There's no sign of an Australian twang. Couldn't even call Angela mate once, did he? Which they always do, the Aussies. Everyone's a mate in Australia.
It still had his Wigan twang.
You end up turning him into a
Wigan through and through. Or is it Wigan?
Well, this is 6 penalties apiece now in this game, and like both coaches would have talked about being patient and ending the sets better, but Warrington, they did all the things well, and in the opening 2 minutes of this game, I think they've looked very physical, where the aggressive line speed, the hitting, they seem to be hurting Wigan as well when they're carrying that ball.
Well, Warrington are here on the back of their biggest win of the season, 50 points to 10 against Lee. The first time they've scored 50 points since beating Leeds 52-18 at the Halliwell Jones last May. The Warrington Wolves, been a funny old season for them. It started with 7 Super League games at the start without a win. They're always going to struggle as a result of that, and struggle they have all year. But Powell here gets a lovely kick in, looking for Liam Marshall. Marshall just deciding to hack the ball forward instead of maybe dropping on it, but at the same time it was a chance, just didn't quite connect properly. Ball goes out. Warrington scrum.
Second tackle, it was an unusual decision. Sam Powell puts it on the end of his toe. Liam Marshall can pick that ball up. Of course, he's got a chance of scoring very early in the tackle count.
Well, they're spotting space, aren't they? They can see that Warrington are jamming in, and they're leaving the space, and they're vulnerable on the edge. That's how they scored the first try from Thomas Lulawai's kick. Sam Powell thought that there was a chance, there was an opportunity. Well, they just need to defend this next set of 6 now.
Out.
Lynham will try and work it forward, but meets stiff resistance from Wells and Isa.
Go.
Well, Lynham moved off the mark then, about 2 or 3 paces. Easily have been penalised. It's Philbin, and Clark gives it to Jack Hughes again. Clark waits on halfway at dummy half. Chris Hill. Chris Hill is grounded by 3, made 10 metres progress though. 4 tackles gone. Down the right-hand side with Gidley. A dab over the top from Kurt Gidley. A nice kick too. Brought a bit of land for the Warrington Wolves there.
There's good weight on it, isn't it? Kurt Gidley steps up, controls the play, knows exactly where he wants to land that ball. And defensively, again, it's just about keeping Wigan trapped near their own line. Maybe force the error. Will they start panicking as Warrington keep playing down this end of the field? And that's the word that's been used a couple of times, Eddie, patience. If the likes of Kurt Gidley can play with a level head, everyone else will react to what he's doing.
Well, Warrington now scouring the market to replace Gidley, who has decided he will leave at the end of this year. Played in the grand final last year. It's his first grand final, of course, in Super League. It will be his last, because they won't be at Old Trafford this year. But he didn't make any grand finals in his NRL career. Good servant, though, for Warrington.
Champion player and a champion bloke. I'm sure he's had a lasting influence on the environment and the culture at the Wolves Club. Tonight, I'm sure he'll be focused on getting 2 valuable points, and if not the points, then a good performance.
But it's his half-back partner from last year, Eddie, who I think probably the side of Mr. Morse, Chris Sandow. You talk about Warrington this season, the biggest problem has been their attack, their inability to score when they get close to opponent's line. And last year, if you cast your mind back to the first half of it, Chris Sandow was instrumental in scoring some and setting up many of Warrington's greatest and most exciting tries. That's drifted from the game, and they've been unable to replace that. So the defence has been good today, although here's a chance for Wigan here now. The referee says it's gone backwards.
Did, he came off the shoulder.
But what have the Wolves got? Curry's back, that's going to help. Between Curry and Sandow last year, there was almost a try again more that Warrington had, and the penalty here now should take them into Wigan's half.
So Ratchford is going to try and dump this ball into touch over on that far side. No, he's left it to Patton to do that as we watch the replay. Wigan all offside. Kurt Gidley, we've talked about him a lot. Of course, he will also have on his CV the fact that he was the first player in the world of rugby league to wear the player cam earlier this year on his chest. It was a unique insight into what was going on out there on the field, in the middle.
Hold. Go. Tell him to move. Get square. Hold.
This now is Savelio, plays the ball to Darryl Clark, and Gidley again takes over, hunted down by Williams, and Clark and Gidley gets away from him. Good run from the Australian scrum half. Darrell Clark again. Here is Patton. Curry drops the pass off to Ratchford, tries to go inside Gelling. Gelling snakes out the arms and brings him down. So 13 metres out on the last. Patton thought about the kick, decided to run it, then had a little kick, and Williams had to take no chances because that ball was hanging around in the in-goal area.
Eddie, it was a good kick from Deck Patton. He checks himself, just spots that hole in the line, and he knows that he's got his teammates. Joe Philbin, I think Joe Philbin, since his introduction from the bench, he's come up with some big players in defence, some big carries as well.
Terry, it's better than a good kick. That was a great kick. It was a great kick there. They've given themselves here now a repeat set. Perfect chance to attack. But if you want to win games, you've got to convert these sort of situations into tries. They had a lot of this field position in the first half. They couldn't quite break down Wigan's defence. John Wells and Brian Kennedy debated at half-time. Was that Warrington's inability to crack the Wigan line, or was it just superb top-level defence? I suppose we're going to find out to you over the next half an hour. Warrington needs to show us if they've got any way of linking another penalty. They'll get closer to Wigan's try line, but somehow they've got to get over it and put the ball down.
Well, they've got just one away win all year, 9 defeats and 5 straight defeats away coming into Wigan tonight. Their only away win, 19-10 at Easter against Widnes Vikings.
Hold on the floor. Hold!
30 metres out as Cervello takes it forward, wants to finish his Warrington career with a bit of a flourish.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Clark looks to his inside and finds Gidley. Gidley then to Patton. Patton then a no-look pass to Atkins. The ball was played at and then was knocked on by Lynham on the floor, so that's going to be Wigan's head and feet at the scrum.
I think this is a sign of the desperation that Warrington feel themselves under. For Ryan Atkins to kick this ball on the first play, it knees it through, doesn't it?
I don't think he has full control of it, Phil, from when he catches that ball initially. There is a bit of panic that comes in there because of where he catches that ball. And they backed themselves in that set because they were just, 35 metres in front of the line. They had a penalty, they could have gone for 2 points, tied the game up. They certainly still back themselves. They're giving themselves every opportunity to win this game. The way they've started out in the opening 10 minutes, defensively, they've been solid.
When you think back to the start of the season and what Warrington did to the Brisbane Broncos in the World Club Series, you have to ask in 2017, where has it all gone wrong? I suppose if any of you had the answer to that, you would be...
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
I was going to say, earning a lot of money.
That's the million-dollar question, but still I look through that side, and I think there's one of these games, they're going to click. They clicked last week, they scored 50 points, they scored 9 tries. They just need to back it up, though, against the bigger sides. That normally this fixture, you think, right, there's going to be some points, there's going to be some great defence, and it's going to take a big effort for the team to come away with those 2 points.
Well, we've seen some big efforts in defence all right tonight. There's no question about that. We've also seen mistakes and we've seen far too many penalties. This is the big difference between the game in this part of the world and what happens in the Southern Hemisphere, particularly at state of origin level. The number of penalties in Super League compared to what we see down under. Is that down to players or is that down to referees? I think it's down to the players.
Maybe a little bit of both, Eddie. I don't like to hear the referees whistle too many times, but if the players don't try to cut corners, you see Joe Philbin there, he has a snatch and a tug at the ball. Sean O'Loughlin just simply lets go.
So Wigan here with an opportunity, but that's a good hit on Jack Wells by Clark. He's putting himself about in defence tonight as well as Darrell Clark. There's Powell, now he finds Lulawai. Lulawai finds Tompkins, reverse pass then to Bateman. Bateman a little hop and a skip before he's pulled down by Clark again. Powell, Marcus weren't standing square, short ball to Wells from O'Loughlin. Wigan inching the way towards the Warrington line. Powell into centre field to Lulawai. Here's Nuasala, winds himself up for a run at that line. He's halted on tackle number 5. Powell again, well, that ball was dropped all over the place. Oh, but Wigan have got a penalty because somebody kicked at the ball and the referee says it was Jack Hughes.
Jack Hughes, when he's trying to reposition himself around the front of the play of the ball, his heel knocks the ball. So,
Fairdues,
keep the pressure on.
Fairdues.
Yeah, he's trying to take a shortcut, as Barry was saying before. He's got his foot in the way.
So, from that penalty, 4 or 5 metres out, what can Wigan do? O'Loughlin is pulled off the tackler by Chris Hill. That's another penalty. You can't blame the referees for blowing the whistle when players do things like that. Williams drops the pass off. It's Isa. Isa now gets Wigan back where they were, 3 metres from the line. Powell. Powell fires the pass to Luluwai. Luluwai then to Tompkins. Tries to go inside pattern. Good work with Curry. Tompkins is halted. Lost a bit of ground. Bateman makes it up again. 3 tackles gone this set.
Got good attacking shape out on the left here, Wigan.
Gelling. Stuttering run. Finds O'Loughlin. Wide it goes to Williams. Jack Hughes gets to him. And it's 4 gone. Warrington standing their ground, standing firm despite the penalties that came against them. Isa, good hit again from Clark. Sean Wayne looking slightly anxious. Wants his team to capitalise on this. Nice kick this from O'Loughlin. And Ratchford just boots the ball into the advertising hoardings goal line dropout.
Poor set of 6 that. And Wigan a bit frantic. A couple of times though, Wigan players were looking up, they were trying to just tip the ball on. Here comes the penalty. There's not a problem with this penalty at all. Jack Hughes trying to get round the front. Frank Paul Nuasala landed on his front, earned the right to get up and play that ball, but they need to finish these sets off here better.
Well, they're going to get another chance, in fact 7 chances from this goal line dropout after Ratchford just humped the ball out of the way. 10 away wins last year for Warrington, 1 draw. They lost only 3 of 14 away from home. That's why they finished as league leaders. That's why they went to Old Trafford, and that's why they went to Wembley. Runs like that, form like that. Luluwai. This is Marshall.
Surrender! Stand, hold, go.
Eddie, I'm trying to watch the body language of the Warrington players. I thought they did well under a lot of stress to maintain and keep that line intact. And if they don't look to cut corners, if they look to pay attention to the little parts of this game, they give themselves a big chance.
This is Bateman. Bateman taking it into the 20-metre zone. I might have slightly misled you, actually. It's not a 7-tackle restart from the goal line dropout. That happens at a 20-metre restart when the ball goes dead. So my apologies about that. Just misreading the rules slightly, but it doesn't matter up here, according to a couple of people.
As long as the ref doesn't misread them, and Warrington will feel like, as long as they don't have to do 7 tackles.
This is Luluwai. Gives it then to Tompkins. Tompkins slides another kick through. And again, Ratchford will take the ball dead, or does he?
Oh, it was a big play, wasn't it, from Stefan Ratchford? Knew that he was under pressure.
Referee believes it's a 20-metre restart, this.
Stefan Ratchford's pretty good at shielding the ball out, but he actually touches it before it goes dead, so it'll be a goal line dropout.
Phil Bentham's having a couple of quick looks.
He does everything in his power not to touch it. You feel the ball just hits his arm rather than him pushing it out. Will he get the benefit of the doubt?
He's willing that ball dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Well, he can't get any clearer evidence than this.
Well, it hits his arm there.
Hits his arm and hits his body. It's goal line dropout, surely. Well, maybe not.
Looking for a 20-metre restart.
Well, he knows that they've been under pressure, Stefan Ratchford, and that's why he gambles with that play.
Well, it's back the referee's decision as they live on the field. And he didn't want there to be a 7th player or an 8th one after that, Stefan Ratchford. He was desperate to shield it as it went over the sideline, and it's their turn now to try and roll forward.
Can understand Tony Smith's reaction if that decision had gone against him, but the decision went for him.
Maybe he's against the principle of checking for restarts with a video referee. He thought video referees for try-scoring situations, that could be his frustration, Eddie.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what his frustration will be. He had 3 looks and not 2.
Here is Ratchford. Well, he had 3 looks, not 2, and we believe he got it wrong. So Warrington got it where it should have really maybe been a goal line dropout. Anyway, not to worry. The 3 tackles onwards are Warrington.
He could be a game breaker, the man who played that ball in Andre Savelio, and this man as well, Ryan Atkins. Look at that. Again, he's leaving Wigan players on the floor.
And this now is Darrell Clark. And Clark then finds Patton. Patton slides it in for Ben Curry! And Curry marks his return with a try that nudges Warrington ahead. Boy, have they missed him this year, Ben Curry. Out since last September, 27 games ago. And a try on his last 2 visits to this stadium, and a try here tonight on his comeback, and happy 23rd birthday on Saturday for Ben Curry.
Ben Curry scores this try, but again, what about the influence of Ryan Atkins? He set up 2 tries with his play the balls and scored one. It's exactly what he's renowned for in the game. Ben Curry times the run to perfection, and everyone's happy that he's back in the game. Look at this. 2 men left on the ground. They can't get set. They can't reposition themselves. So Darryl Clark gets out from dummy half, buys a bit of time for his half-back. Perfect kick.
And Dec Patton has been in and out of this side. Sometimes he's fallen foul of his coaching. He's had to sit and watch for a spell, but Dec Patton, an instinctive player. We talked about players that might be a throwback to a golden age. I think Dec Patton is one of those players. Very much plays what he sees. He puts that kick in. He knows that Ben Curry has the appetite to get on the end of it, and certainly the fans are glad to see Ben Curry back in the primrose and blue of the Wolves.
Indeed so, and he scored the try that nudges them ahead. And Dec Patton, as you can see, has taken over the goal-kicking responsibilities from Stefan Ratchford, who missed with his first 2 attempts. Mind you, they were much more difficult than this, to be fair. Patton then. Oh, and Patton has pushed it the wrong side of the posts as well. Well, that might upset the Warrington coach, but I bet Tony Smith isn't shaking his head now as a result of this try.
Well, he scored 17 tries last year, Ben Curry, and he set 13 more up for the rest of his team. You know what? He's an important part of their attacking game, and he's delighted. Richard Aguirre alongside him there, pleased with the sacrifices that Ben Curry's made, the discipline and dedication to do all of the rehabilitation. It was a very serious knee injury. Many of the ligaments in his knee were damaged, and it's taken 9 months really for him to recover, get back to his best.
And he is, on his day, one of the best. It's Ben Curry. He's only 22 years of age. He's a massive future. Warrington have missed 3 conversion attempts.
Just going back to Ben Curry again, Eddie, I'm told that he's about 6 or 7 kilograms heavier than he was last season. We know how fit he is, a brilliant engine on him to play the full 80 minutes without needing a rest. And if he has that same pace and agility, he'll be even more devastating for the rest of this season.
Ashton Sims is back out there. I mean, when we ask what has gone wrong for Warrington this year, and I know one man doesn't make a team, do you think it might be Curry's absence for all this season to date?
Well, it doesn't help when you're missing the likes of Ben Curry, but one man doesn't make a team, I don't think. It does everyone else around them. What they do with the ball, what they do in defence, the way that they turn up to train. They're not a confident bunch of players at present, Eddie. That's been the problem all year.
Patton's kick downfield is collected by Tompkins. Chase again by Clark. He has been all over the pitch tonight as Darryl Clark. Oh, Burgess gives it to Gildan. There's a knock on by Wigan. Again, suddenly momentum switches.
Again, Eddie, put this down to Ryan Atkins on the 5th tackle. Same player, same outcome. He breaks the tackle. He gives his half-back Dec Patton a little bit of thinking time. And from that play, the ball, Wigan looked to shift this ball, and that was always a difficult pass for Oliver Gildan to take.
And let's give some credit to Ben Pomeroy as well, who gets off the line, quickly gets in the eye line of Joe Burgess, and he forces him to pass that ball. If he doesn't pass that ball, he's going to get knocked back 5 metres.
Oliver Gildan, who started the match with the opening try. And here we are now approaching the hour mark. A little mistake from him has given Warrington this head and feed 10 metres away from the Wigan line. Looking to score back-to-back tries and take a real stranglehold on this match. Here is Peter Hiku for the Wolves. The legs are lifted. He stood on one leg, didn't go down. Looked a risky challenge. Here is Chris Hill. Tried to muscle his way to the line. Down he goes. And another little push on him from Ryan Sutton, so a penalty.
Interference.
Will they go for 2?
Again, you think they keep on going here.
And they are going to, I don't think. Or are they? No, Chris Hill's pointing to the sticks. They're going for 2.
Well, they kicked a penalty goal against Lee last week when it was 6 points to 0, so very unlike the team that Tony Smith has coached, really. not often will they go for penalty goals. Certainly not early in the match against the team lower them in the table, but this is a different situation. An hour into a game that they're desperate to win for the supporters, for their own pride here. And every point will count at the end of this match.
Yes, it will. They have to win here tonight, Warrington, and then hope that Lee come up with a victory at Huddersfield tomorrow night, and then they are still alive. If Huddersfield win, indeed if Huddersfield avoid defeat, you're probably looking at the qualifiers.
But Eddie, they get that W, they get that feeling, they get to sing the victory song in the changing room and carry that through to the next week.
Back-to-back victories they're chasing, of course, after the win last week against Lee. And looking for only their second away win of the campaign, as we say. So safety first, that's why Ratchford now has the job. This time Ratchford makes no mistake. So the margin increases to 4.
Well, because they've missed 3 conversions, maybe they just thought, right, well, this is an easy one for us. Get 2 points, we'll still score a try, whether it's out wide or close to the sticks again.
It's an unusual decision, though, with only
they've had a
point advantage.
Well, they've had a few opportunities in the first half, didn't they? They chose to run the ball, and again they had an opportunity early on in the second half, chose to run the ball.
So Wigan now with 20 minutes to wrest the momentum back. And Ashton Sims carts it forward. Nuasala and Sutton in quickly to him. Here comes Chris Hill again. Pokes his nose through.
They both had a good first period then, didn't they? Chris Hill and Ashton Sims getting into the Wigan 6 in the middle.
Hiku gets to his feet, plays it to Clark. Savelio. Will you get him down on tackle number 4? 8 metres inside their own half. Sims will get them over halfway now, and that's what he does.
Nice easy set of 6 here from Warrington.
Last tackle coming up, kick then to come from Gidley. Goes high and down the centre of the field. Gidley hits the ground after the kick. Pouched safely by Tompkins.
Good set of 6 from Warrington, nice and basic. Low risk players up the middle, all the big forwards touching the ball, landing on the front, then a good kick from Gidley at the end of that set.
Here goes Gildart again.
This is turning into a good old-fashioned arm wrestle the last 2 or 3 minutes. Both teams prepared to just get to the end of the sets. It was a good set of 6 after a try. As we see Wigan with a loose offload, and immediately it's Gelling who puts his hands up and says sorry.
And then Bateman comes up with the offload, gives it to Lulawai, and Nuasala takes it back from whence it came. Loram is back out on the field, he gives it to Gelling again. Warrington solid enough in defence in centre field. Lulawai will look to kick, no he won't, he'll give it to O'Loughlin, who will hoist the kick high. Palm down, and it's to Jack Hughes who gets to it first.
Well taken from Jack Hughes, he wasn't expecting that ball. Joe Burgess trying to tap the ball back to one of his teammates. The only man that was there though was Jack Hughes in the Warrington shirt.
Well, Eddie, you've picked out very often some of the brilliant tackles that Darren Clark has made, but he's now just been taken off the field as we see that kick go up here. And they've introduced a second hooker, you know, Wigan have done that. They've had Sam Powell on and Michael McAlone, but Morgan Smith comes on to fulfil the role that Darren Clark had played. You're going to see him put his hands on the ball here now. Green boots on, quick player. They'll be hoping that he can exploit any tired defenders that we're going to have in the middle of the field.
Yeah, only his 5th substitute appearance of the year, Morgan Smith. Every time we've seen him, though, he has been impressive. Savelio. Tell you what, every time Savelio goes into the tackle, that knee comes up, doesn't it? And I think I'm right in saying he's received a warning or 2 from the disciplinary people in the recent past.
He's had 3 cautions in the last 3 weeks, Eddie.
Well, you watch him. Next time he takes the ball into collision, the knee does rise.
He's a difficult player to handle.
He is when the knees come up.
You often see Andre Savelio break the first tackle. He stamps that ball, pushes his body forward, gets his buffers up. He's not quite got the timing of it with that knee.
Here comes Gelling now. Warrington doing well defensively again inside the Warrington half. Can they defend this run from McAlorum and now from Luluwai? Yes, they can.
Seems like they've well and truly found the rhythm now, doesn't it, the Wolves?
Nuasala's lost the ball forward.
Well, in the previous set, there was a couple of loose offloads. Again, Nuasala looking to offload the ball. Obviously, there was too many jerseys around him in the opposition colours.
Here's Ashton Sims. Always seems to back his way into the on-rushing defenders.
And he's looking for that offload. He gets a ball over the top, flops it to a player as Pomeroy runs a good angle.
Here goes Morgan Smith. Zippy and the nippy little pass to Hill. Warrington's turn to attack again, Wigan's turn to defend, and Gidley with a bit of time. Here's Sabellio, knees stayed on the deck that time, were not risen. Morgan Smith again, Gidley. Short ball to Sims. Smith, kick wide, looking for Lynham. And Marshall just got a fingertip to it and flicked the ball dead.
Penalty in the air.
Well, Morgan Smith
Penalty
looks
to
a good
Wigan.
kick. He's a former halfback in his junior run, but there's a penalty gone against Warrington.
It's a push in the slight
contact
push.
in the air, contact in the air by Lynham. Just there as he's getting to the top of his jump, just takes him away from the ball.
Had he not put the arm round the front of his chest, that would have been A-OK.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, Williams, well, he got away with that.
Kennedy trying to play outside of Warrington. The defence has been so good in the second half. They're just having no joy at all going forward.
Right here with Ryan Sutton. Solid tackle by Morgan Smith.
Well, he picked out the smallest man, didn't he? Good technique from the youngster.
Bateman. Hill and Ryan Atkins doing the job. O'Loughlin thought about the pass on the inside to Williams. Took one for the team, but only made about 5 or 6 extra metres. It's McAlorum, and now Luluwai will pump it high. Lynham's after this, waits for it, and then Marshall gets to him.
Eddie, I think Warrington are getting the upper hand here. I know Wigan are flying in, trying to force that mistake. Warrington, when they're needing to defend and when they're called on to defend, they look comfortable. They're doing the right things with the ball, and it's actually Wigan who are forcing the offloads, trying to find that miracle pass.
Peter Hiku picks himself up after tackle number 4, Ratchford. Pomeroy.
The game seems in the last 10 minutes to have gone narrow, doesn't it? We're almost staying centrally in the middle of the field as he kicks the ball long here, hoping that one or two of his teammates will chase it.
Oh, off the knee of Liam Marshall, and he has to be quick. There was a hint of a possible knock-on in the tackle earlier. You just saw a hint of, maybe. Gildart now for Wigan.
Not a bad first touch there from Liam Marshall. Wigan Athletic play on this ground in less than 24 hours against the mighty Liverpool Football Club. Turns up another night, might give a blue and white kit.
Nuasala comes wide to Luluwai, further wide to Bateman, and the Gelling, and wide to Marshall. Knock on by Marshall, because it was a very good tackle, as it turned out, by Lynham.
Well, Frank Paul Nuasala surprised everybody passing the ball. They found some space on the edge, but what commitment from Tom Lynham, just drags Liam Marshall into touch.
I don't know what Gelling's doing after that, by the way. He booted the ball towards the posts.
Just practicing. Again, they're not having any joy going through Warrington, are they? Playing outside him, and Liam Marshall, well, he's set the Super League on fire this year.
8 tries in 3 against Warrington.
Yeah, just can't get around Tom Lynham. You look at picking the forwards in the battle, who was going to win? Warrington's middles, I think, have took it to Wigan, knowing that it was going to be like a couple of bully sets early on in the second half, and I think they've got over Wigan.
If I'm right, Eddie, were those 8 tries when he played on the left wing, not the right? There's a big difference, isn't there? That's why I think Joe Burgess has managed to work his way back over onto that flank, knowing that you do get more chances. Right-handed people pass the ball easier to that side of the field, and the left winger, more often than not, ends up as your top try scorer.
Tom Davies, who's been on this right wing, does an incredible amount of work coming away from his own line. Almost 200 metres he gained for his side last week.
Warrington to halfway, courtesy of Chris Hill. Plays the ball to Morgan Smith. Here's Mike Cooper again. We've got 12 minutes remaining. 12 minutes and a 4-point advantage to Warrington, looking to tie the game up here with this run from Philbin. Sutton into him very quickly, helped out by Clubb. Also by Isa. Difficult man to put down is Joe Philbin.
Just keeps rotating his big men, doesn't he, Tony Smith?
Gidley, good kick into centre field. Tompkins is after this. Oh, it's pinched though by Ratchford.
Well, he catches the ball, doesn't he, Ratchford, and all of a sudden he's looking to pass the ball to somebody. Fortunately, it goes to Sean O'Loughlin.
The offload from Gelling went to Sam Tompkins.
Then he gets up high, contests that ball. His teammate's not there, Morgan Smith.
O'Loughlin almost gave himself up there, didn't he? He stopped. I'd have thought he was offside, but it came off Ratchford as we saw. This is Bateman.
A couple of the Wigan players now just directing Sean O'Loughlin. Steps up, gives the ball to George Williams. Can't find a way through. Tell you what, the defence again in the second half has been uncompromising from Warrington.
It's tenacious. Lulawai with a kick into the corner. How good is it going to be? It's going to be very good. That's a Hiku picks it up. Wigan come forward to cut his options down 10 metres from his own line.
Now there's a change in attitude from Warrington. They didn't want to let the ball drift over the sideline. They wanted to pick it up and have a crack at the Warriors.
Pomeroy is halted by O'Loughlin's tackle. That was Ratchford dummy half. Here comes Tom Lynham now, taking on Bateman. Tony Clubb coming in to do the job. Atkins. Still to be won, you feel, this game in the last 10 minutes. Patton's gone for a 40-20. Tompkins has made sure he doesn't get it.
Look at this chase. There's still a try in this game. Both of these sides now are going to open up the play. You can see Warrington building in confidence. Wigan need to score a try.
Move all the way, Mike.
Ian Marshall plays the ball to Lulawai. He then finds Sam Tompkins.
It's gone a little bit like American football, hasn't it? Now we've got running backs and tackling forwards. When a team get the ball, it's all of their outside backs, the speedsters who running forward. Here's Joe Burgess, not that many passes. The guys in the middle are trying to tackle and defend here to hang on here now from the Warrington perspective for 9 more minutes.
Clubb goes down, tackle number 5. It's going to be with O'Loughlin, now with Lulawai. And the kick from him is an invitation for everyone to chase, but the chase is a little laboured. Ratchford has it, and then Gelling and Bateman get to the Warrington fullback. Warrington have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 men still in front of the football here.
Well, they just opened one of the back three will bring the ball far enough to them so they don't have to get back behind the ball, wasting some energy in what has been a tiring game for both sides.
And Eddie, Warrington have made a tactical change now. They've taken off Chris Hill, the front row, and they've brought on Darryl Clark to try and speed it up round that ruck and round that middle.
Here's Mike Cooper again. Bateman gets to him with help from Clubb again. 5th tackle that is, last one coming up. Smith to Patton to Gidley. Gidley inside the 40, but straight down the middle and straight into the arms of Tompkins. Now then, he has a little bit of space ahead of him, but the wall has now arrived.
There's one man you can't stand off. He'll just go across, bouncing across the line, looking for that gap. He's trying to drag a defender onto the line and make the wrong option.
Ian Marshall.
Surrender! Go to.
All the talk before the match about Wigan possibly joining the fray in the top 4. They would be 2 points behind Hull if they win here. At the moment, though, Warrington are throwing themselves a lifeline, but that was a good run from George Williams. Quick play the ball to McAlorum. Here is Lulawai. Lulawai goes down, tackle number 5. Gelling dabs the ball over the top, looking for Marshall. He's in touch.
A couple of big plays for the Cherry and Whites. George Williams behind the ruck. Sean O'Loughlin with a big powerful kick.
Tackle without the ball.
Well, he certainly made contact with him before he had the ball, didn't he? Could have been penalised for that. I think he thought he should have been.
It was a good run, wasn't it? George Williams down the back of the ruck, broke up that pattern.
No question, that's a penalty.
I don't disagree.
No.
Well, if he'd have probably just taken the tackle and not gone for the ball, he might have got the decision.
But you can't let decisions like that frustrate you.
No.
If you're behind on the scoreboard, you can't blame the referee for being behind on the scoreboard and not coming up with that decision. Good play.
Gidley with an important break here. And he gets it wide to Petter Hiku. And Hiku is closed down by scrambling Wigan defence. It was Burgess. Pomeroy to Ratchford. Ratchford into centre field to Pat.
They look a bit flat, Warrington. Look a bit flat. They made that break. There's nothing off the back of it.
There's Darryl Clark, though. Important tackle that was by George Williams. Philbin. Tackle number 5.
We'll have to go to Patton because Kurt Gidley looks like he may play no further part. He puts it over the sideline. Angela Power spoke about patience beforehand. It's more about holding your nerve now for the Warrington team.
And Gidley is receiving treatment. Referee calls time off because of the injury to Gidley.
Well, he spots the gap and he goes through. Willie Icy jumps the line. He goes down on the pressure from Sean O'Loughlin.
It was lovely hands. One of the forwards, can't remember who it was, just simply caught it, tipped it on, and that was the broken line.
Looks like he's got a problem with his left calf, doesn't it?
I think might have been O'Loughlin's knee going on the back of the leg, maybe, as he completed
hits
the
the
tackle.
ground. Yeah, well, there's nothing dirty. You can see that Sean O'Loughlin's just putting everything into this play. Yeah, you're right, Eddie. All his body weight straight on top of him.
See, you doubt my medical.
You are available, aren't you? Medical
I'm
consultancy.
available anytime.
I'm just saying,
Hamstrings are at least 2 weeks.
on a regular basis, Eddie, I am just merely pointing out that you have never even got a little bit tired, a little bit out of breath.
Hey, my knee at the moment is not the best.
Well, fingers crossed for Kurt Gidley.
Too much sitting down on the couch.
That he's okay.
Well, he's limping.
Well, he's just
Quite
trying
badly.
to free it up, and now isn't he walking back to the scrum?
To be a coach, you've got to be a gambler, haven't you, in a way? The gamble is now, do I leave him on the field, hoping that he'll be fit enough and be quick enough to react in defence, or do I bring him off and put another player on who I think's got more mobility, but not the brains or experience?
Yeah, and
Have
you'd
any
like to
idea
think
what the substitute count is?
You'd like to think with all the experience that Kurt Gidley's got, he would know if he's finished or he's not.
Well, Warrington and Wigan have only got one more interchange between them. 9 out of 10 for both of them, so... Gelling. And McIlorum can't make any progress whatsoever. This is tigerish Warrington defence. This win, if it be a win, is built on the Warrington defence tonight.
In the second half, Eddie.
What an offload from Sutton. A little bit of space for Bateman, but that's quickly closed down, and it's panic stations for Wigan. They know how important it is for their top 4 ambitions. Warrington know how important it is if they are to have any chance of climbing away from the bottom 4. Oh, and Williams has gone without the ball.
Well, it was Kurt Gidley who moved up quickly in defence. He did it in the first half and it backfired for Wigan's first try. Here it's certainly saved one and it's given them possession. Probably an opportunity and potentially to go on and win this. No, not on, says the referee. Hiku, punches thrown.
John Bateman and Hiku trading punches.
I don't know what sparked that off. I really don't know what sparked that off.
Probably a mistake. The scoreboard, both sides wanting the 2 points. Desperation.
He's getting tense and touching out. Good footwork, late footwork. There is a hand from Tony Clubb that I can only imagine Hiku is unhappy that has gone against him. There's a push and a shove.
It's what happens after, isn't it, Barry? That's what annoys Hiku. He knows that there's a hand, he's been robbed. Good penalty. John Bateman comes in, rubs his head.
No, I'm going to correct myself. There's no punches thrown there. A bit too much pushing and shoving, but no punches thrown.
Yeah, it almost looks like John Bateman's coming to pat him on the head. But I'm mistaken. He's he's got his arm as he's coming. I would actually penalise John Bateman for that. Mentioned at the start of the season. The RFL want to cut down on that sort of thing.
Look, we have got a knock on, but then you take the law into your own hands and strike the Warrington player. The penalty goes against him. That overrides it.
It's a penalty to Warrington, and it could be the 2 points going to the Halliwell-Jones Stadium as a result of this. They'll surely take the 2 on offer.
His claim is a legitimate one. Bateman's saying, I've got to push in the face. But if John Bateman is going in, as you say, to pat the player on the head, Hiku has pushed him before that.
Well, if Bateman doesn't go in, he doesn't get hit in the head.
Yeah. You go for 2 points here.
And they're going to do that, exactly.
A minute off the clock. March him down the field, go for a drop goal.
Hey, you've not guaranteed they're going to get the ball back from the kick-off here. This is...
Well, at the start of the game, they didn't get the ball back, did they, Phil? So it will be a short one.
Well, you're right. You mentioned the gambler. Warrington and Tony Smith, they've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Well, Ratchford has got to kick this, and then Wigan have got less than 4 minutes to score a converted try that would give them a draw. But Warrington will be more concerned with the fact that if they kick this, they can hold on for those 4 minutes and get the win, and then say, well, we've done our bit, Huddersfield, over to you. If you're good enough to beat Lee, you will get into the top 8. That's all going to happen tomorrow when we watch Castleford and Salford. We'll be keeping you right up to date with everything that happens at the John Smith Stadium, of course, and all the other games taking place tomorrow night. OK, Ratchford then to maybe close the gate on Wigan. Kicks it this time. 16-10. 3.5 minutes to go.
Well, the Wolves will be on red alert from this kick-off now. You're quite right. They didn't deal with the opening kick-off. Stephen Ratchford makes no mistake for those 2 points. They need to deal with this kick-off now.
So it's going to be Liam Marshall for Joe Burgess here. Right-footed kicker to the left wing.
There it is. Oh, it's not gone the 10. It hasn't gone the 10. It's a penalty on halfway for Warrington, a la the Cup quarter-final, when Ratchford missed and might have won the match.
Warrington are going to tap this ball and play on. I thought for a second, and watching the activity on the sideline, is anybody confident enough to go for 2?
Looks like a kicking tee came on, or is that the kicking tee coming off for the kick-off for Wigan? I'm not sure.
Well, Deck Patton has kicked the ball off. He's confident in his team. They're going to try and challenge the try line of the Warriors.
Here is Curry. Has come back and has made a big difference.
Has Deck Patton got that drop goal in him, which he didn't find in the cup game? He's got maybe one chance here now. At the end of this set, they're going to be centre field.
Yes, that drop goal that was missed that day would have taken the cup tie into extra time. This drop goal, if he goes for it here, would give them 2 priceless points. They might be after more than just the 1 point drop goal. Philbin. Oh, he's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. Wigan have a chance in the closing 2 minutes. The ball is with Williams. Good hit by Darrell Clark. 6 tackles to go from here. Tompkins to Luluwai. Surely there's not a dramatic twist at the end of this, or is there? Well, has Tony Clubb got a hand to the ball and knocked it out?
Big set for Warrington this. You can't afford to think about whether a decision's gone for you, against you.
Tompkins wide, it goes to Williams. Further wide then to Willie Isa. Back to Sam Tompkins. Here is O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin running laterally, gives it then to Gelling. Gelling with the ball in one hand, gives it to Marshall. Marshall to O'Loughlin, takes the return. Liam Marshall couldn't get the pass away. Tompkins had gone in front of him anyway. 3 tackles gone. Wigan finishing on the front foot with Tompkins again. Tompkins has broken through, and importantly, Jack Hughes got a hand to him. No penalty. This is Bateman. Now it's with Luluwai. Luluwai then to Williams. Williams gets it wide, and Burgess just can't take it in. And Warrington have given themselves a lifeline.
fantastic defence. The Warrington players, after a succession of offloads, have to get on the toes. Ben Pomeroy does just enough to deny Joe Burgess. We've seen him finish those chances before.
It was scenes of the magic contest between these two sides, wasn't it? Where Warrington had a narrow lead going into the dying minute, and Wigan scored in the left wing to draw the match. There's a potential for a repeat of that, but it looks as though at this stage here, the Warrington supporters who've had very little to celebrate this year are going to travel the short journey home with 2 points, a little bit of a smile on their face, and some confidence back in the team.
Indeed so. It's all about building for what's to come. And what's to come will depend on the result at Huddersfield against Leigh tomorrow. Sean Wayne will know this is an opportunity missed for the champions. Started so well. Warrington gritted their teeth and got back into it. And it looks like now, with 10 seconds remaining and a 6-point advantage, unless something catastrophic happens to them here, but they're going to go home with that priceless victory that they came in search of. And Clark's in no rush. There's the final siren, and Warrington will go home with a win. Only their second away win of the season. They have done all they can. As I say, it's now down to Huddersfield tomorrow. They've closed the gap on Huddersfield to 1 point. Warrington have got one game remaining next weekend against Widnes. Huddersfield will play Leigh tomorrow. If Huddersfield win, Warrington are in the bottom 4, come what may. And as far as Wigan are concerned, well, Sean Wayne will be mighty disappointed. First of all, that his team haven't scored in the second half. Credit Warrington's defence for that. But also that they didn't build on the golden start they had when Gildart went in for that first-minute try. 10-8 Wigan half-time, 16-10 Warrington full-time.
Wigan will be disappointed for their inspirational leader, Sean O'Loughlin, that didn't manage to get him a victory. But the defensive effort from the Wolves, the way they stuck in this game, the way they stuck to the task will mean that Tony Smith's side will go into the dressing room for the second time in 2 weeks. They'll be able to sing that victory song, have that spring